How's it going, guys? Bibi here with another Bibi's Pick, a series that I pick an anime that I've seen in English and recommend it to all you awesome people at home. So this week I'm recommending Kyou Maoh. So I've got Season 1 and then Season 2, which is Collection 1 and Collection 2 here. Kyou Maoh is a 117 episode series about a Japanese boy named Yuri Shibuya who has a pretty ordinary life. On his way to school one day, he sees that a classmate of his, Ken Murata, is getting bullied by a bunch of guys. Yuri steps in to help, and while he steps in to help, Ken runs off. While alone with these bullies, Yuri gets pushed into a bathroom cubicle and gets his head dunked into the toilets. Once the bullies leave, Yuri is sitting there, drenched with toilet water all over him, and then all of a sudden, he gets sucked into the toilet. He gets pulled into another world that he doesn't know. This world is called the Demon Kingdom, and it turns out that Yuri is meant to be the Demon King. So that's where the series leads off. We watch Yuri in his day-to-day life as he learns the way of the land, learns how to become a great king, and tries to figure out how he can get back to his own world. Created by Studio Dean, the series was released in 2004 in Japan and then in 2008 with an English dub. If you want to see this series or buy this series, you're going to have to buy it secondhand. The series was released by Genin Entertainment, who used to have the license for this series but no longer has it. Funimation picked it up but let it lapse in 2011, and they have no plans of picking it back up. So if you want to see this series or buy this series, you're going to have to buy it secondhand or find it somewhere else online because it's no longer in distribution. Kyou Maoh is an interesting series that I really wanted to watch because of the fantasy elements. I didn't really know much about this series before I watched it, and I must say that it's a pretty decent series. The story was interesting with them trying to save the world by the end, but it was a bit more of a comedy than what I was expecting. I was disappointed with the comedy. There were a lot of corny jokes and the comedy just felt flat in general. There were also quite a few slightly homophobic remarks in this series. This usually happened when Yuri was protesting his engagement to Wolfram, who, by the way, is a man. Not only that, but the consistent repetitiveness of Wolfram calling Yuri a wimp throughout the whole series became very tiresome. It's definitely a slow-paced series, with a lot of episodes dedicated to world building and character development, with a bit of action chucked in here and there. I must say that I did find it interesting how many different tribes there were in the world. They had a lot of different tribes that they mention, but unfortunately they don't delve very deep into them. You don't find out much about most of them, to be honest. The one tribe that I was really interested in was the Flybone tribe. We learned that they are very helpful to the people around them and that they have a lot of important jobs, but we don't learn much more than that. And I was really disappointed because that tribe seemed really interesting. Sure, they had one episode where they went crazy throughout the episode, but that's not really what I had in mind. The dub of Kyou Maoh was decent. It wasn't the greatest, but it wasn't the worst that I've ever heard. The animation is pretty average, but it's decent enough for its time. It definitely hasn't aged very well though. The characters for the most part were well developed with a decent amount of backstory, but for the amount of episodes that Kyou Maoh actually has, they could have really fleshed out a lot more of the other characters. For example, we learn a lot about Conrad, but we learn next to nothing about Gunter, who is always left behind and he doesn't really get much screen time. We don't know much about him at all. And to be honest, I didn't actually realise that he was one of the brothers until halfway through the first series. So that's kind of saying something. Looking at the main character Yuri, he doesn't really change that much. He gets a little bit of character development here and there, but for the most part he stays the same. The weirdest part, in my opinion, is how he can learn how to control his powers just kind of out of nowhere. He gets this weird power boost where he doesn't go through any rigorous training or have anything traumatic happen to him. He just all of a sudden knows how to control his powers, which I feel is a bit of a cop-out. He really should have had some sort of training or something happen to him at least, like other anime series. Surprisingly, for a world that revolves around magic, there isn't actually that much magic being used. It's more there for necessity's sake than actually being used to win out any battles, which I found kind of weird considering this is a fantasy series. Instead of fighting it out, they resolve their conflicts through conversation after Yuri has won their trust, which happens rather frequently. If you enjoy slow-paced series with a fantasy element, then I think that you'll enjoy Kyou Maoh. I think it's a decent enough series to watch. It's a very long one to get into, so you're going to have to dedicate a lot of time to this series. I would suggest you at least try to get through the first season, and if you don't enjoy it, then drop it, because as I said at the beginning of the video, it does pick up after the halfway point of the first season. So try stick it out if you can. And that was Bibi's pick, Kyou Maoh. Have you seen this series? What do you think of it? Leave it all down in the comments below. I look forward to reading it all. While you're there, please make sure to give this video a big like and share it out to all your friends. I'd really appreciate it, and it helps me out a lot. I'm on social media. I've got a Twitter and a Facebook, and I'm online constantly, and I've also got a Discord. If you want to see more from me and more videos like this, then please make sure to subscribe for a wide range of anime content. From Maoh to Mika, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye!